Have you ever stopped to think that something you take daily, believing you're taking care of your health, might actually be sabotaging your brain? Sounds absurd, right? But what few people know is that certain common medications, especially for those over the age of 50, can drastically increase the risk of severe dementia. And the worst part? Many of these drugs are prescribed without patients being properly warned about their dangers. We're talking about something real, which might be sitting in your home right now. It's as if, by treating one health problem, you're creating an even more devastating one. Want to know which medications can cause profound damage to your memory? Get ready, because what I'm about to tell you could change the way you look at your health from now on. Some daily medications, while helpful in many aspects of health, pose serious risks to the brain. This is something that often goes unnoticed, especially among people over 50 who tend to take medicines without questioning their long-term effects. What few know is that these 7 common medications that cause severe dementia might be part of their daily routine, and the damage to cognitive health is significant. For example, medications for allergies, depression, and even insomnia can be directly linked to the rising cases of dementia. And these aren't just isolated cases. Many studies have warned of the dangers of these substances, leading to an urgent reflection. Are we paying attention to the signs? Stay alert, because what comes next may surprise you, especially when you learn that such common drugs, like omeprazole, can have devastating effects. Omeprazole, commonly used to treat acid reflux and heartburn, may seem harmless, especially for those who use it long-term. However, few people know that after 4.5 years of use, there is a concerning association with a 33% increase in cognitive disorders. This happens due to a deficiency in vitamin B12 and changes in gut microbiota, 2 issues many are unaware of when taking this medication daily. Now imagine this. Something you take to ease digestive discomfort might be harming your mind over time. A deficiency in vitamin B12 is silent, but its impact is devastating. And because this primarily affects those over the age of 50, it becomes even more urgent to be aware of the dangers of this medication. And omeprazole isn't the only one on this list. Let's move forward to discover other medications that cause dementia and may be closer to you than you think. Anticholinergics are commonly prescribed for allergies, depression, and even sleep disorders. However, a lesser-known side effect is that they block acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter essential for learning and memory. This can increase the risk of dementia by 54%, especially in older adults. It's alarming because these medications are often used without any suspicion of their long-term effects. For example, those who have had to take allergy medication regularly might not realize that they are simultaneously putting their cognitive health at risk. These medications that cause severe dementia are sneaky because the symptoms don't appear immediately. And this leads us to another point. How many other everyday substances might be damaging the brain? There's still more to uncover. Corticosteroids, widely used to treat inflammatory conditions like asthma and arthritis, come with a hidden cost when used long-term. They can directly impair memory, decision-making, and even emotional regulation. On top of that, these substances degrade crucial brain structures, like the hippocampus, which is responsible for memory. People who rely on these medications for years might start noticing a mental fog where memories seem to fade away slowly. If you know someone who has been on these medications for a long time, it's possible they're facing cognitive difficulties without realizing the connection. The hippocampus is one of the brain's most sensitive areas, and its degradation can have devastating effects on one's ability to remember and process information. And this raises the question, are the medications we take to solve one problem creating another? What about those used to treat anxiety and insomnia, which we'll dive into next? Benzodiazepines are widely prescribed to treat anxiety and insomnia, but what many don't know is that prolonged use of these medications can double the risk of developing Alzheimer's. Additionally, these drugs can cause memory loss and disorientation, leaving individuals vulnerable to frequent mental lapses. This is especially concerning for those over 50 who may depend on these medications to sleep better or manage daily anxiety. Now, think about the irony. While trying to calm the mind and find peace, the continued use of these medications might slowly compromise the very function of the brain. In the beginning, it may seem harmless, a good night's sleep here, relief from anxiety there, but the long-term accumulation reveals devastating effects. And this is just one more example of how substances we use in our everyday lives, without much thought, can cause serious damage to cognitive health. And what about ADHD medications? That's the next point that deserves attention. Amphetamines, widely used to treat attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, are known for improving focus and attention. However, long-term use can bring serious consequences, such as memory loss and cognitive decline. This happens because these drugs affect the regulation of neurotransmitters like dopamine and norepinephrine, which play critical roles in memory and learning. Imagine someone taking this medication to boost academic or professional performance, unknowingly compromising their mental health in the long run. It's like solving one problem while creating another. The impact of such drugs on brain health must be carefully considered, especially when talking about medications that cause dementia. And the dangers don't stop here. First-generation antihistamines also pose significant risks, as we'll see next. First-generation antihistamines, like diphenhydramine, are commonly used to treat allergies. However, these medications block acetylcholine, a vital substance for proper brain function. This can cause memory problems and significantly increase the risk of dementia. Those over the age of 50 should be especially cautious when using these drugs. Now, think about this. You take something to relieve an allergic reaction, something so common, and unknowingly put your long-term memory and concentration at risk. Medications that cause dementia are more frequent than we realize, and antihistamines are just one example. And speaking of memory, tricyclic antidepressants also directly affect this brain function. We'll talk about them next. Tricyclic antidepressants, once widely prescribed for depression, are still used by many people today. However, these medications can interfere with acetylcholine, resulting in cognitive decline and memory problems. This is particularly worrying for people who take them over long periods without knowing the possible side effects on the brain. Imagine someone fighting to overcome depression, finding relief with these medications, but at the same time, compromising their ability to remember, learn, and focus. Over time, this impact can be profound, especially in older adults. The medications that cause severe dementia may seem harmless at first, but the danger is real. And when it comes to mental health, statins, which we'll explore next, also raise important questions. Statins, widely prescribed to control cholesterol, are an intriguing example of how something beneficial can have a dark side. While they help regulate cholesterol levels in the body, research suggests that these same drugs may be linked to memory loss. This is because cholesterol plays an important role in brain function, and excessive regulation of it can have unwanted effects on cognitive performance. For those already taking statins, particularly people over 50, it's worth keeping a close eye on any signs of cognitive decline. It's a fine line between protecting the heart and keeping the mind healthy. Harmful medications that cause dementia are more common than we think, and many of them are part of the daily lives of people trying to improve their health. After all of this, the question is, are you paying attention to the medications you take? Now, let's move on to the conclusion. Can you imagine the impact these medications might have on your life? If there's one thing we've learned here, it's that knowledge is power, and acting now could be the key to protecting your mind in the future. After all, nobody wants to lose precious memories or watch their ability to think and reason fade because of medications that could be avoided or replaced. What will you do with this information? Will you keep ignoring the signs or take control of your health? Think about how many people around you might also be at risk without even knowing it. Subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to keep learning about the hidden dangers threatening your health and discover how to protect yourself effectively. Because believe me, this is just the beginning of everything you need to know to preserve both your mind and body.